Hey guys, it's Jane Amjadi here. I'm very tired. Finals are hard. I just woke up cranking out a review of the new Car Seat Headrest album, Teens of Denial. This is a follow-up to the album they released fairly recently, Teens of Style, which I enjoyed. I didn't necessarily care for all the production. It seemed like the instrumentals kind of washed out the vocals a bit. Not to mention, the vocals were so reverby and staticky, kind of had that Strokes effect on them, that it was kind of a little bit hard for me to connect with them, but I still enjoyed it as a whole. On this album, just by looking at it, you can see that the track listing, it only has 12 songs, but a lot of them are incredibly long. We get 8-minute to 11.5-minute tracks on here. Just casually as an average. So you can kind of see that Will's songwriting has improved. Start out with Fill in the Blank, which is probably one of the more straightforward songs on the album. You get this classic indie pop rock sound. Lots of Strokes influence coming in on the song, along with the rest of the album, of course, especially on the vocals, which have been cleaned up a lot, which I appreciate because, as I said, it's kind of hard for me to get into on the last album. A lot less muddy than Teens of Style. Lyrically, Will brings an interesting premise saying that he shouldn't be depressed because he hasn't even tried hard enough to enjoy himself yet. There really is excellent progressional song structure on this album, which is shown by songs like Vincent, which has been out for a while, but it really fits into the album well, even though it is towards the beginning. It remains calm until about the 2-minute mark, and then it just bursts into this kind of groovy, angsty, which is a little bit too much like Reptilia, maybe. As I said, they're definitely wearing their Strokes influence on their sleeve. I think the track brings enough energy on its own to kind of bring it out of that Strokes shadow. They do throw some curveballs, like we get some horns like towards the middle of the track. I enjoy it. I really like it. Destroyed by Hippie Power is one of the more middle-of-the-road songs for me. Lyrically, I don't think it's quite as interesting. There's a certain looseness to it that is pretty cool to a certain extent. I feel like they weren't trying too hard to make like genius lyrics here. For the second verse, he just kind of drops the whole tune and he says, "That guy I kind of hate is here," and then he goes into the chorus again. So I really like the next song, Drugs with Friends. We get some very interesting personal experiences over a pretty tried chord progression in the genre, I'll admit, but it's another example of how not all the instrumentals are completely exceeding my expectations. Will remains expressive though and very enjoyable to listen to. It doesn't stay with like simple instrumentals either, as once again an excellent song progression on this album. It slowly builds into a much bigger instrumental. Just what I needed / not just what I needed. I really like the frantic vocals on the verse of the track, which contrast well with his deeper usual vocals. I love when Will casually throws in lyrics like, "I've been waiting for some real good porn." Eventually the song dissolves into this kind of freak out of body experience where there's vocals all over the place and Will's just kind of doing his thing. It's cool. Drunk Drivers Killer Whales. The song that originally got me excited for the album, and might be my favorite still. It seems to illustrate the loneliness that's felt after like a big party, just kind of in your car alone trying to get home. Despite the pretty pensive tone of the song, it's still hella catchy. It's a solid track. If you listen to one song on here, listen to this song. 1937, State Park. This song kind of reminds me of like if Slint were like a little bit poppier, which sounds strange, but it actually works. Will brings some very sad lyrics, referencing someone he knew who died. Also, while singing about death has become a cliche in the genre, which it kind of has, but I mean, it's done nicely here. Unforgiving Girl. Meh, it's smooth, it's poppy, probably the happiest Will comes off on the album. Sadly, the chorus comes off so corny, tune-wise and lyrically. Maybe this was intentional to kind of match the cheery tone of the song, but it's still difficult for me to look past. I really can't enjoy this song. It's definitely the lowest point on the album for me. But of course, after this, we had Cosmic Hero, which is another example of some excellent song progression. It starts off with some pretty somber horns, which was exactly what we needed after Unforgiven Girl. Contrast that song completely, talking about getting out of a bad relationship. Then at the end of the song, once again, instrumental just explodes in your face. It's excellent song progressions on this album. I can't drive that point home enough. Will is leagues ahead of where he was on Teens of Style. Then there is the incredible 11.5-minute Ballad of Costa Concordia, which really feels like a summary of everything else we've heard previously on the album, but it doesn't feel repetitive at all. Incredibly somber lyrics. Will is at the point where he really had just stopped caring, but does it in an expansively pretty way. Really expresses every songwriting muscle in his body here. In the middle of the track, he seems to have this sort of like epiphany. He just kind of embraces the cold, empty, meaningless of life. I'm sorry, what were we just talking about? That's when the track just explodes and gets everywhere, and there are these guitars, and everything is poppy and okay and very not okay at the same time, and wow. Not to mention, this is before a very pretty outro to the song. Definitely one of my favorite, another favorite on the album. But that's not even the end, because then we get Connect the Dots, which is a pretty pop-punk tune. Keeps it really catchy. I like the breakdown at the back end of the track with these kind of dystopian, blurry noises coming in over the guitars and drums. Once again, builds into a very explosive instrumental. I know I've used the word explosive so many times in this review, but I mean, if you listen to this album, you'll understand. That's how you would describe the progression of these songs, just explosive. And then finally, the album finishes off with Joe Goes to School. And I'd say the main point of this song is kind of just to finish off the album, but it serves that purpose well. It kind of brings you into this very calm state, ready to just kind of return back to the world outside of Will's point of view, I guess. And that's it. I'd say it's a very enjoyable album. Will really does a good job here, lyrically, emotionally. I like the lyrics. He reaches a whole new register that he didn't on Teens of Style. In so many ways. Really, it's just a phenomenal kind of Strokesy album. I'm just saying, if you like the Strokes, you'll probably be down for this too. It's kind of pop punk. It's kind of indie rock, but yeah, give it a try. This has been the word of Jane Namjadi with a rock band mic. Whatever. Our budget has gone downhill for this show. Car Seat Headrest. Teens of Denial.